Hey everybody. I'm getting ready to update my Quest 2 here. Been a little bit since I turned it on. And I noticed maybe, a couple weeks. I noticed when I logged in I didn't have any controller movement and I didn't have hand tracking. So I held down the power button on the side of my controller until I got the restart and activated that. And then I would tap the power button here, like I had this toolbar, but it was right here by my belly and I couldn't move back any further. So I leaned forward and tapped off, like putting it to sleep, my headset, and then tapped it to turn back on, and this came up further forward so that I could interact with it if I should get my hand control back. Eventually I got a notification just above the toolbar here that said the controllers weren't connected, and I also didn't have Wi-Fi for a second, although I clearly did. TV's on in the background, as a matter of fact, and it runs. It's streaming. So it said to hold down, and I'd never noticed this before. These are the Pro controllers, and I have been having some issues with them, but it said to hold down the power button, the Oculus button, Meta button on the left, and hold it down until the controller activated, not just push a button, which I did, and eventually did get that controller to activate. As you can see here, controllers are not displaying, and I'm thinking it's probably because I'm overdue for this update. So I did get my hand tracking back when I double tapped the controllers, because I did get one controller working but not the other. So the good news there is that there is a solution. Let me see if I can get that to work. And it's the same thing for the right controller. If you hold it down, you'll feel them vibrate, and it does a little pulse, and then it does a long vibration. Long meaning just more than the pulse, but still short. So if I hold them both down, you'll see the recentering come up, because of the one on the right controller is obviously the recenter button. I don't yet have the Meta AI. So on the new one, Meta AI is kind of right in here, and I don't have that yet. So I know that that's coming in the next update, and so that would be update 68. What am I on right now, just out of curiosity? Okay, there was more than 168 update, so this obviously was prior to the Meta AI being released. So I'm going to hold down these controllers, see what happens. Holding them down now. There's vibrations. There's one solid vibration. Can I get my controllers back? No. So it's probably not going to happen until I actually do the update. So I'm going to start the update now. Oh, there. Look at that. I've got my controllers now. So, yeah. If you're having problems with your controllers, check for an update. See if that will help out any. And let's continue here and get that update going. I've been running stuff on the Quest 3 lately, trying to get Vorpx to work to do some Borderlands 1 play. I want to do more on the Borderlands 2 as well, but either going through Steam Link, I get a weird, how to describe it? It's like a semicircle, only in recording, but it's a semicircle type image that comes across here and just across the top in a semicircle fashion. And that's what happens when I record via Steam Link. I have great audio and the rest of the video is great, but I have that artifacting, and I'm not quite sure how to get rid of that. And until I do, I don't want to post anything up with it. And then using Virtual Desktop, I get the audio, but it's a black screen for the video. So, been trying to work on that to get that figured out. But until that happens, I thought, well, I'll just do some Borderlands 1 because I haven't played that in forever. And so much of the Borderlands 2 story revolves around some of the characters of Borderlands 1. I just thought it would be fun to go through and replay the series in the story order. So it'd be Borderlands 1 and then the Pre Sequel, which tells the story of Handsome Jack. So Borderlands 1, you get introduced to the probably story important characters, although they're all good, of Roland, Lilith, and Mordecai. Mordecai's the hunter, vault hunter. And then in the pre-sequel, you get to meet some of the antagonists of Borderlands 2, which is really interesting. Also in Borderlands 1, you get to find out that there's more than one type of claptrap, which is really cool. Still waiting for this update to finish here. Should be getting there soon. So that's the pre-sequel. And then in Borderlands, it's called a pre-sequel because it's a sequel to Borderlands 1, but it's a pre-sequel to Borderlands 2, if that makes any sense. So then in Borderlands 2, which almost everyone knows about, there's the antagonist of Handsome Jack and all of the people that help him along, and you learn how they are integrated into the story from the pre-sequel. In reality, the pre-sequel didn't come out until after Borderlands 2, but if you're going to play by the story order, you get introduced to those characters in the pre-sequel and then learn about what happens in Borderlands 2, which is why I want to play Borderlands 1, because it's so much more impactful when you know the history of the characters. Borderlands 1 doesn't have a lot of story, the original Borderlands. I mean, it's not story heavy. It's just a lot of action. But it's got neat character backstory, which just makes 2 so much better because you're connected to the characters from 1 if you played it. And then there's Borderlands 3. That will either be a Vorpx or a UEVR situation. I haven't decided yet. Borderlands 2 will most assuredly be the VR version because that's always better when it's made for VR. But I'll have to see. Maybe one will play better than the others. What's neat about using Vorpx or even UEVR is that you could actually play with other people. But I usually play games alone, so that's not a huge factor. We're almost there. And then Borderlands 4 is coming out next year. And one thing about Borderlands is once they announce that the game is coming, it's almost always a really quick turnaround for, and here's the release date. So, be keeping my eyes out for that. Tales from the Borderlands, I might actually try the first one. And that might happen if I do try it and decide to post it. That would be between Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3. So now you know my roadmap for what I hope to do. We'll see. Things come up all the time, so we'll see. Wish me luck that I get it all working, and here we go. I'm going to restart the headset and be on my way. Just wanted to check in. Bye.